officer. Ma'am.
Okay, I call this North Wales Water Authority Board meeting to order for Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
to the republic for
which it stands,
one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible, liberty and
liberty and justice for all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Roll call.
Mrs. Niederheit,
Here.
Mr. McDevitt,
Here.
Ms. Mangle,
Here.
Mr. Tenney,
Here.
Mrs. Nagel.
Here. All right, do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the meeting of June 24th, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Yes has it. Thank you. No public being present. I guess there isn't any, right?
Nope.
Okay, no, there will be no public comment. Resolutions, this session will be discussed during the solicitor's report. Bids and contracts. Who's going to handle that?
I'll take it, I guess. We had sent out invitations to bid for janitorial services. We tried to write more of a spec, and we included performance bonds, payment bonds, those type of things. And I think because of that approach, we knocked out all the mom and pop type cleaning organizations. We got no bids. We received no bids on it. We're going to have to decide, because if we want those bonds, we're going to wind up with the larger janitorial firms where you never quite know who's in your building, and that's a risk also. We have to discuss that further. But we did receive bids for our leak detection services. We go out, we try to do about a third of our footage of water main every year, and the firm that's been doing it for the last some years, Octotech, did not bid. We don't know why they didn't bid, but they did not bid. However, we definitely need this service. The low bid was a firm out of Ohio, Consulting Engineering, Inc. We checked their references. They seem competent. But because we don't know them and how well they perform, we would like to award it, but only for 1 year. They held their prices for 3 years on their bid. The bid tab is on page 6. However, because we don't know how they're going to perform in our system, we'd like to award it as noted on the motion, recommendation, a motion on page 5, for just 1 year for leak detection survey and daily emergency and non-emergency work for the prices listed in the attached pen bid tabulation.
So moved.
The second, discussion.
Yeah, I guess it never occurred to me. How do you evaluate how the leak detection service works?
Well, since we don't know these people, we had to rely on their references that they cited with their bid. And we contacted them, and there was letters of recommendation also. So I think they know what they're doing. My concern is that we used to always be with Aquatech 100% correlation, meaning you had to set up on a valve and another hydrant or valve and correlate. They go through, their methodology is to just do the listening first, do a swipe of the system, and then come back and do the correlation to try and pinpoint any leaks. So that's why I don't go lock in for 3 years. I just want to see how they work out for just a year.
Brad?
Yeah.
As part of talking to these folks, did they tell you or disclose to you where they have detected leaks in their history of contracts? And if there was any one certain leak that was something they had to brag about or crow about? I mean, do you have any experiential data on them?
No, not other than the references, and they worked mostly in central western Pennsylvania and eastern eastern Ohio. They're just trying to branch out now into this region, but it's very important for us to keep ahead of our leak detection efforts and not let them fall by the wayside. So I wouldn't feel comfortable not having someone come in to do about 1/3 of our footage this year.
Okay.
Question. So I ask this question every time we go to these bid things, especially because there's such a huge difference between consulting and Trinity subsurface, like a $75,000 difference per year, per price point, rather. So I guess my question is, what are we paying now for services?
It was very similar to the consulting engineering's the low bid this year. I can tell you, Neil, and I've been doing this for a long time, even water main bids for installation of water mains, it's not uncommon to get outliers. They're basically just throwing a number saying, my dance ticket's full, I don't want this job, but if you pay me this, I'll take it because it's worth my while. We get that all the time.
Thank you.
I guess, Brad, the question I had is, how will you evaluate how well they've done on leak detection?
We have our own correlators too, so our thoughts are that after they do their acoustic pass and come back to the correlation, we're gonna test some of those areas ourselves. And if we find leaks on those segments that they thought weren't worth reinvestigating, then we know they're not worth their.
Okay. That's what I wanted. We have a check.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, anything further?
Call for the question.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the Consulting Engineering, Inc. of Strongsville, Ohio, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. Yes has it.
Now, back to the janitorial service. Do we need to discuss that as a board, or are you going to work that out?
We'll probably have a recommendation by next month. I actually contacted another company in Warrington. The problem that we've had in the past is we went out for a contract with a service, and I happened to be in the building one day after work, and everybody was there. I mean, everybody was not there. And I went in the men's room, and I came back after, and there's a person walking around in our office. We had no idea who it was, because the contract people, they hire people. We don't even know who they are. Somebody's out sick, so they substitute. We have people walking around in our building. We have no idea who it is. So that's the problem with any company. But if we hire the employee, then the employee quits or the employee has their week's vacation. We have no one. So we're balancing it out. So we may find that we wind up with a smaller company that just does the Bucks County office and one that does the other office, because when we're combined, the amount that we pay gets over the bid limit, and we have to go out to bid for everything, which forces us into a big contract in a major company. So what we're looking at right now is the possibility we have one agreement to take care of our Bucks County offices, and we get a different person or company to do the Montgomery County office, and therefore we don't get into the $18,000. So by next month we'll have it figured out.
Thank you.
All
Right.
Bob?
Yeah.
On the janitorial, I hear what you're saying. I started out that way with Lamb, and then we had to go to employees for the consistency and the loyalty.
Yep.
But one of the things that's important is that, to me, are the products they use. And as part of the whatever they're quoting, you would want to know the portion of it that's products, what products they're using. And I know for what I have to do, there are COVID recommended products.
Yep.
And they're more expensive. So the products that are being used that are now CDC recommended, I think that you might want to look into that as part of the equation as well, because of it being a public building.
Thank you. Makes sense.
All right, thank you. On to the solicitor's report.
Okay, we'll get, I guess, address the two relative the motions first. One being just asking for the board's approval to complete the negotiations and the easement agreements with Bucks County Water and Sewer that were the result of the Warrington purchase and the Bucks County purchase of the sewer system in Warrington. We were trying to clean up some easements that were, one of which was inadvertently conveyed to us, and to send that back, that easement back to the Bucks County, as well as to include an agreement for that water line on the one property that we discussed, earlier, in order to allow on that fenced property for the town, for the authority to have a meter at the edge on the outside of the parcel, so that we have access to it. And everything's been pretty much agreed to in principle. We're just trying to finalize those agreements, so we're just looking for authority to finalize and get them signed. Move that along.
All right, do I have a motion regarding the easement and water line agreements with Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority as written?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Although opposed, no. Yes has it. I have a motion for the North Wales Water Authority Board of Directors regarding purchase of Bucks County Operations Center as written.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
One question. This is B, correct? Lease purchase agreement?
Yes,
1553 Easton?
that is correct.
The lease, interest rate on the lease purchase. I couldn't find it.
There is no interest on it unless we would have to borrow more money. At this time, the projected income is that we would not have to borrow any additional money. In fact, when we were authorized to spend the $21 million for the Warrington system, we came in at 8. Anyhow, the combination of the water system, the office building, and this is less than 21 million by $500,000. So
Okay.
the projected is we will not have to borrow any additional funds for the project. So we've been.
So the lease purchase agreement is written without any interest in the agreement?
Correct. Because it's the money that we've already purchased or borrowed, I would say, which was $21 million. And I can actually send that back out again. I had that on a budget, but we brought the water system in for $17 million, as compared to, and then we got additional money because Warrington Township had presented an estimate of what they were getting for all the cell towers on our system. They wound up giving us back $400,000, whatever it was that they did. But anyhow, we have now, we are going to come in. I think we're going to be able to purchase the building and build the garage on it, or build the warehouse in total less than what we had anticipated spending just for the water system. So I think all 3 properties will be less than what we anticipated. Remember, we were paying $2,500 a customer. We wound up buying the water system for about $2,000 a customer. And if you remember, our competition was bidding $7,000 a customer.
Yeah.
So we're well under budget, so we're in good shape.
Well, that's a coup. All right. Thanks, Bob.
All right, Barbara, the resolution.
Okay, I have you all received a copy of that? So Bob and I and Mike had a phone conference earlier today with Chris Gibbons and Kevin Scott, bond counsel, to just go through the remaining issues with respect to getting the extension on the drawdown. and everything seems to be falling into place. The one issue that we addressed in our memo that Donna raised in the last meeting regarding arbitrage, there is no issue as far as that goes. Kevin pointed out that that issue doesn't even arise until you draw down the money, and then you even have plenty of time in which to spend it. And Mike also confirmed that taking out, drawing down a certain amount of money, putting it into an account and spending it as needed is perfectly acceptable as well. So we don't have any concerns with that respect to that issue. Excuse me. And Chris is pretty confident that he's going to be able to get some confirmation, official confirmation on the extension shortly. He's working with the bank, and Christine, I think, is still in the process of working through the issue with possible rate reduction, correct?
That is correct.
Christine was on the call too, pardon me, as well.
See, what we were trying to do is the original loan required that we would draw down that money August something before your next regular meeting. They're going to give us 2 additional years before we have to draw all that money down and start paying interest. So basically, we're going to not pay interest on that money. We don't have to draw it against the money. So whether or not, even if we don't get a different interest rate, which would be nice, but even if we don't, we're going to save money because we're not going to have to draw down money and start paying interest on it for having borrowed the money. So it's
Nice.
it's saving us a substantial amount of money. I mean, I forget what we have to draw down. I think, Christine, how much?
10.3 million.
So yeah, we would be paying interest on $10.3 million for 24 months. So even if 3 or 4 or 5%, whatever the number is, that's a substantial amount of money. This way,
Real money. It's real money.
yeah, it's substantial. So we're saving quite a bit on it. So
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised.
Very.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't understand. The bondholder has indicated that it may agree to a reduction in the interest rate. I don't understand that.
Well, we were supposed to draw down all the money and start paying interest in August.
Right.
So we asked for that to be extended for 24 months. And then while we were at it, actually, we said, well, why don't we ask them if they'll consider reducing the interest rate too while we're at it? So they haven't agreed to that part yet, but they're at least thinking about it. So we may get that too, which would even be better.
Rates have gotten better.
Well, we're trying to get both. But really what we wanted to do is the extension, the 24-month period first. That was more important.
But the possibility of the interest rate still is in the part of the resolution.
Correct.
As a possibility, it's just there as Kevin asked us to include it there just in the event that there is some sort of agreement on that the authorization will be there. And so the resolution is written in such a way to allow us to pursue that and allow bond counsel to pursue that if necessary.
Belt and suspenders. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And paragraph 2 of the resolution kind of spells out the documentation that's necessary. Kevin felt more comfortable with our having the board authorize this resolution, so there's authority for him to follow through and do all the filings and changes of the various agreements that are required.
Right. Right.
All right, do I have a motion?
So move.
Second,
Second?
any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Yes has it.
Joe? If that's a resolution, don't we do a roll call? Aren't we required?
Good point.
Barbara?
I believe that's the case, isn't it? Really, don't you typically?
We've done it both ways, but we can do it. We'll do it. Mrs.
Okay.
Niederheiser,
Speaking of,
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Ms. Engel,
Sorry, I can't hear you. Me?
yes.
Yes.
Mr. Tenney,
Yes.
Mrs. Nagel,
That was me? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
I'm not hearing you too well, Rita Jean. I don't know what the heck.
Yeah.
You know, the sound is really strange this time. It's very
Yeah.
crackly.
It is.
Make it
It's not
squeak.
exactly an echo. It's sort of like a ghost.
Squeaky on my end. It's all squeaking. Glad it's not just me. I thought it was just me.
No, it's
Somebody's
not
on
just
Christmas wrapping or
Yeah,
something.
good. I'm always happy.
All right. We're okay there then? Let's go on to the engineer's report.
Thank you. We issued the notices of award to the two low bidders, MJF Electrical Contractor and CB&I Storage Tank Solutions, and we've received the agreements, the bonds, and the insurance certificates back. We're reviewing them now, and once they determine they're in order, we also want to take a look at the subcontractors list from CB&I to see who they might be hiring locally to do some of their concrete work and painting. Once that's all resolved, we'll be ready to deliver the agreements to Bob for signature, hopefully next week sometime.
When are we going to break ground?
That might be a few months. We have to get a number of shop drawings in first, so we're thinking it's probably not going to be for 4 or 5 months at least. They also have to coordinate where they're going to deliver their materials. I think there's some, staging areas that have to be set up by the contractor.
Mhm.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Operations report?
Operations report, nothing major. I just like to point out that we did accomplish our goal of completing our annual flushing prior to the July 4th holiday. That's something we always try to get done. I do have one item on page 11. It's a resolution to accept dedication of a water main that we installed, was installed on Valley Road over in Warrington Township. It was initially, it's just going to be a fire line for flexible circuits. It's a pretty large outfit over there that had a major fire years ago, but we designed the pit so that in the future, if they need to bring their domestic service through the same pit, they can. Right now, their domestic service comes through the Transco gas pipeline out the back, which is not something that you want to try to redig. So I would request that the board pass a resolution accepting dedication of the Valley Road main extension, E1056.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Yes has it. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's all I have.
Okay, finance report.
Short bills list this meeting. I recommend and request your approval for bills, refunds, transfers, requisitions A, B, and C.
Okay, do I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Niederheiser,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Ms. Mengel,
Yes.
Mr. Tenney,
Yes.
Mrs. Nagel.
Yes. All right. Executive Director's report.
I have nothing for the board to take action on tonight, but I will let you know that our finance director has met with the finance director from North Penn. Today we met with Tony and I and Jeff Pfeiffer and people at Forest Park, and it looks like we're going to be able to present to you another budget year without any rate increase, with the same distribution of the funds without any rate increase. So it looks like we're going to be able to continue. I think it's for our 5th year in a row, purchasing the water at $160 a thousand for us and $179 for Bucks County Water and Sewer, with the typical deposit into capital reserve fund and the like. We also agreed today for something new for the water plant, which would be to do a long-term capital program. So we're going to take the at least a 5-year look ahead on not only operations but capital reserve spending, and so that'll be presented to first the operations committee, and then after the operations committee to the joint committee. But the good news, it looks like we're going to be able to have another year without a rate increase, which is very, very good. And we're continuing to build monies in the capital reserve fund. And so far, what's projected is we will not have to supplement any capital reserve funding or capital improvements with money out of our BRIF account. It'll all be in the money that we're putting together as we split that money. If you remember how we have the components, how we split up the funds. So that'll be coming to you in another week or so. But the good news is, again, it looks like we'll go for at least another year without a rate increase.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
We're touching the BRIF is great.
Yeah.
It is. So it's really working out right, because before all the capital improvements were funded 50% North Penn and 50% us. Now it's 1/3 us, 1/3 North Penn, and 1/3 Bucks County. So instead of having to pay half of the improvements, we're paying 1/3.
There you go.
And, so it's working out very well.
Yep.
And just so everyone knows, the Forest Park Ops Committee meeting is August 18th, and the joint board meeting is September 3rd.
That's not a change from what we originally had, is it?
No.
No.
It's on our schedule. Okay.
Will that all be Zoomed?
I think we're going to. Tony and I have been talking about it, and because of some need to stay outside of a public meeting mode, I think it probably will be. We'll decide that very soon.
Okay. All right. Anything further?
Just one question, Bob. Any COVID positives or positive asymptomatics among employees?
Knock on wood, absolutely not.
Praise God.
We are actually rewriting and updating our processes so that when people are going on vacation and they visit an area that is potentially problematic, they're going to actually take the exam when they get back and get tested.
Okay.
The hospital in Lansdale has it, CVS has it, the Bucks County Wellness Center down the road from our Bucks County office has it. So we don't want people going on vacation and coming back from an area where it may be, they may have been exposed or in contact with people and just saying, here I am. So before they can regain us after the 2 weeks, they're going to get tested. So,
Well, they have to be quarantined until you get the test results, don't you?
they have to be either quarantined for 2 weeks, and we're not going to pay them. They're going to have to use their vacation time, or
Well,
they go get tested.
There's a COVID benefit in that CARES Act or whatever it was that they passed,
Yes.
that they are entitled to at least a 14-day pay, which I think we've got to pay. It gets reimbursed probably from the federal money, but that's something to check.
All of our employees have had that, Joan. We've satisfied that. We have the list. And so those people, I mean, everyone has gotten at least 2 weeks since the beginning of March 23rd when we started. So we've met that. So we're in good shape. We've satisfied. We're watching every one of the laws. We've been very careful to make sure we give everyone the benefit. And actually, I was writing up a new agreement today with all our employees. But thus far, it's working well, and our employees are being very cooperative. They're being very cooperative and understanding, and they know that if they've been in touch with someone who's tested positive, they just can't come in the door. They've got to either take the 14 days and burn some PTO time, or go get a test and be positive, and then they can come back. So they go away for 2 weeks. They may be out for 2 or 3 more days until they're tested and they get a positive result. Then they can come back to work.
They get a negative result.
Negative result. I'm sorry. The other way around. You're right. Damn, I'm going to have to rewrite it.
There you go.
All right, so do we
Did
have
we
a
get
vote?
PPP money?
I'm sorry.
Did we get any PPP money?
No, we're putting that together right now. So far, there's been discussion, but it has not yet been approved by the legislators for authorities yet. There's small businesses, but we're not there. But you know, it's being discussed. Hopefully we're lining it all up. So we've taken everything we've bought. We've got all the janitorial work. We've got any overtime. We've got the mask. We've got the cleaning that we've done, every sanitation. So we've already listed everything. So we're ready as soon as we can apply. Where do you think we are, Christine? We're 200,000?
Materials and supplies, 30,000. Overtime, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay. But whatever it is, we're going to apply for it. We're going to ask for reimbursement.
All right.
I think we're only allowed, what, 90% in payroll or something like that?
I'm not even sure yet. I don't know what, because
Okay.
they haven't sent us anything yet that we even know what the guidelines are
What
yet.
the qualifiers are.
But I figure let's get all the numbers ready. So if and when as things issued, we're able to, within a day or two, file for reimbursements.
Good. Thank you, Bob.
I have nothing else, Joan.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
That's.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you all.
Good to see everyone.
Thank you, everybody.